All right, Maurice or group or whoever's watching this, I'm going to call this framework for civil discourse because it kind of provides us a framework for civil discourse. It's just a proposal. See what you think about it. You know, if it makes sense to you, or we could tweak it or something and alter it. But in any event, is I know you know. It's all based on respect, and parts of this I really feel are like manners 101. I can't believe that we have to kind of resort to some such simple rules that you would I know we were all taught these rules, but I think part of it is to acknowledge, make a couple acknowledgments. One is everybody everybody's passionate about what they believe and what they don't believe. They're passionate about where they find truth and where they find meaning. And everybody sort of has that in common. We all share that in common. And also, if we're going to be talking about controversial issues, that'll add another level of people being passionate about something. So we're going to have a lot of passion running, and that's good. That makes us, really alive, I think. There's not enough, I think, passion in this culture anyway, at least not enough constructive passion. But we have to be aware that we could, when people are passionate about things, we can trigger conflict, unconstructive conflict, and that's what we want to avoid. And so that's kind of the purpose for a certain number of simple ground rules, and if we break the ground rules, then we're basically impairing the group, and the group's ability to move forward. I think we should acknowledge that we're all kind of here to learn something. All of our perspectives are different, and that adds to the diversity of as a group. Our diversity is increased by all the different points of view, and we can really learn a lot from each viewpoint. So I think we should acknowledge that we can learn from each other. Each viewpoint is going to have a unique approach to a situation, a unique analysis of a situation, and a unique insight into a situation or an issue. And we all stand to learn a good deal from that. So we should also acknowledge that, we'll be here to learn. Simple ground rules. And as I say, I'm kind of, it's kind of embarrassing to have to say these sort of things. But for instance, no name calling. If people get frustrated, in their passion, we just want to make sure we're not doing any name calling or any insulting. No personal attacks, basically. But breaking it down even simpler: no name calling, no insults, no invalidation. And by invalidation, what I mean is where you're basically telling somebody, because of reason X, Y, or Z, you are not competent to participate in this conversation, in this dialogue. So we can't be telling people that they're not competent to participate in the dialogue. Examples: when people say you're crazy, that means you're not sane enough to participate in the dialogue. When we tell people, what's another example? Just another example. You're crazy, you're dumb, or you're stupid, which means you're not intellectually capable of participating in the conversation. Nah, that we don't want to do that. Oh, we could also tell people you're just a child. You're not mature enough to participate in the conversation. So anything that detracts from a person's competency to participate is invalidation. Another rule: no ridicule. Ridicule is, of course, an attack where you mock someone. So no mocking, no ridicule, because that's another way to invalidate somebody. Basically saying you're a comic figure. You're not really fully human, to participate. You're not competent to participate because you're just a comic figure. Something we should be, maybe it would be nice for everybody to agree to, if everybody's willing to agree to it, is that they will try to be aware of when they may be tending to stereotype people, or basically deal with a stereotype instead of an individual. I think we should agree to deal with each person as an individual, and should try to be aware of when we tend to stereotype, because stereotyping is always false. So as soon as we assume somebody believes a certain thing because they're in a particular group, just because they're in a group, all X believes Y. We want to, we want to resist that. We want to be aware that we're doing it. We want to, basically learn how not to do it, because we could very well be wrong, and just have a completely false concept of what the person really believes or thinks. And we should also help bring each other's attention to it. If we feel that we see that somebody might be stereotyping, to kind of help each other and assist each other. It should always be constructive. We want to have constructive and civil discourse so that we could all learn and enrich ourselves, and we can all gain a deeper insight into issues that are important to us. So we have to sort of help each other sometimes overcome things that are automatic biases of the mind. In other words. We should acknowledge that we're not here to debate, right? I mean, we're here to learn and to analyze and to share our perspectives and our own insights into things that come from our own individual point of views. Though we may find ourselves finding some common ground, that's really great. But if it turns out that we disagree with someone, and after a little bit of inquiry, it really appears that no one's going to change their mind, we should just agree to disagree and just walk away from that situation. Like you say, put the stones down. Nobody should be throwing stones at each other. People are going to disagree. It just happens. Certain different viewpoints don't always immediately reconcile, at least not without maybe years of thought. We certainly can't reconcile two very different opinions in a brief period of time. So we have to realize when it's just more constructive to just agree to disagree and walk away, and basically remember that we're here for discourse, not debate. We're here for discussion, not debate, not to fight, but basically to learn and to enrich each other and ourselves, and maybe make some contribution to the issues. Come up with some ideas, creative ideas. Be nice if I wish I had a more positive list too, like that we all agreed it would be great to be original and to be creative, and instead of just giving a list of don'ts. But if we're all original and we're creative, and certainly we all have to be respectful. But if we really try to approach things with an open mind, etc., I think that would be really great. So that's sort of my idea of the framework, with acknowledgments and with ground rules and with a little positive sort of rules as well. People may want to. I mean, people may not want to agree to all those things, but certainly they shouldn't break the no things. Thou shalt not. Thou shalt not insult. Thou shalt not ridicule. Ridicule, which is a form of disrespect, really. Thou shalt not disrespect. Blah blah blah. That's the story, man. Let me know what you think. I'm going to stop the capture now. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon, buddy. Love you. Take care.